Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse, McFarlane Toy Store exclusive, gold label, Dick Grayson Robin. This is the golden or silver age Dick Grayson Robin when he's a little kid fighting alongside Batman. Like I said before, this is a McFarlane Toy Store exclusive. It's sold out in less than 24 hours, so if you didn't pre-order him, you're probably going to have to pay extra at this point. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys, ages 12 plus. This is a McFarlane gold label collection. A gold label figure is simply an exclusive. This particular one is exclusive to the McFarlane Toy Store. DC Multiverse, Robin, Dick Grayson. Here he is in the package. Looks like we have a display stand, collector's card, a batarang with attached rope, and then 6 alternate hands, totaling 8 interchangeable hands. One side of the package, Robin, Dick Grayson from DC's Rebirth. Robin, Dick Grayson. The bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there's his barcode, in case it helps anybody. And on the back side, here's an image of Robin next to his mentor, the Batman. So with no further ado, let's open him up. And I did get 2 of these figures, one of which to open and enjoy, and the other one to keep unopened in my complete, unopened Batman-related action figure collection. Alright, now that we get this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. We have a batarang with attached rope, 6 alternate hands, totaling 8 interchangeable hands, a display stand, and a collector's card. We get a whole bunch of hands of this guy because this is a very small figure, and paying the same for this size figure, it's a little bit frustrating. Feels kind of like a ripoff. So they gave you an unusual extra amount of hands and stuff, which is kind of cool. It's very nice to have a classic, traditional Dick Grayson Robin. But I must confess, I feel like I'm going to this review with a little bit of a bad attitude. This guy's using the majority of the parts from the Carrie Kelley body, and I don't know. I was never a huge fan of that figure. It just looks a little bit feminine, and that's maybe because I have it stuck in my head as Carrie Kelley. So, we'll see if this figure can prove me wrong. That being said, Dick Grayson as Robin, we all know his story. He was an acrobat in the circus, his parents were murdered, then Bruce Wayne took him in, and he became his protege. Many years, Batman and Robin, the dynamic duo, until eventually he becomes Nightwing. So let's take a look at him. Starting with his head here, seems, I don't know, maybe a little big. The whole figure looks kind of cartoon animated. It looks good for what it is, but I feel like the R is too big. I mean, the legs, arms, they're thin, and they should be. This is definitely that little kid version of Dick Grayson Robin. Now, it says Rebirth on the package. I don't really understand why they make a Dick Grayson Robin from the Rebirth. It must be from flashback scenes, I don't know. Personally, I would love a straight up old school, golden age, or silver age Dick Grayson Robin. I mean, he looks good, very traditional. They got the suit right for the most part. I like, I don't know, the sort of leafy looking diaper area. I don't know what you would even call that stuff. It all screams classic Robin, the elf shoes. It looks good. Very small. Double jointed knees, double jointed elbows. I don't know, just to me, looking at him, it looks good. But I feel like it could have been, I don't know, a little more serious, a little more regular. It just looks kind of cartoony, kind of animated and feminine. But part of that's because I'm just so used to seeing this and thinking Carrie Kelley. And just like a closer look at his face and head sculpt, he has that boyish charm. Kind of got that little smile going to him. Looks like he likes what he's doing. Or maybe he's up to something. This face and head sculpt totally looks like someone who can grow up to be Dick Grayson Nightwing. It is a very nice head sculpt. I just feel like it's maybe a little bit big. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. He looks like this happy-go-lucky, super excited to be out there with Batman. Just screams old school Dick Grayson personality. And here's the figure broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now, I wanted to say 2 more things before we go on. Number 1, this figure is a little bit difficult to stand up. The feet are very small, and just like the Carrie Kelley figure, it seems like they don't quite fit flat like they're supposed to. And he does have those hideous ball joints on his wrists and ankles, but I think maybe they are a tad better than Carrie Kelley's. Don't worry, we'll compare them both in depth here shortly. Now let's check out his accessories. Let's start off with the boring stuff. Here's the display stand. Typical McFarlane stand. Black circle, says DC on the bottom, and one peg for the pedals on his feet. Very thin, very basic. Now let's look at his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of Dick Grayson Robin from the comics. I don't know, something about it just looks a little more serious, a little more regular. Got Batman in the background. Dick Grayson from DC's Rebirth. On the back side, there is a description. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause now. Now let's look at his hands. He has a total of 8 of them, 4 left hands and 4 right hands. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. Be a little bit careful in swapping them. I had trouble getting the left fist on there, so I ended up heating it up. Last thing I need to do is break the peg off a sold out figure. And here's his next pair of hands. This is a pair of gripping hands. Then his next pair of hands, his right hand is sort of a grabbing hand, and his left hand is completely open. And his final pair of hands. This one fits his personality and boyish charm. His left hand is a thumbs up, and his right hand is an index finger pointing right at you. Here's his batarang with attached bat rope. We have a traditional, old school looking batarang right here, and it's got a white rope threaded inside. It's bunched up here, tied together. It looks really good like this. I almost don't want to open it up, but it's got to be done. Here's Robin holding that batarang and bat rope. Now I wanted to check out this Dick Grayson Robin next to the Dark Knight Returns Carrie Kelley Robin. There are a lot of similarities, but there are some differences as well. So first of all, let's talk about the head. I feel like the Dick Grayson Robin head is a little bit too big. Now it's about the same size as Carrie Kelley's head, but most of Carrie Kelley's head is the hair. If you look at the actual face, it's significantly smaller than Dick Grayson's, so he just looks a little odd from that point of view. Now let's check out the rest. So, arms here. Looks like they're the same. The top, the actual arms, the glove, and I don't know. I feel like the ball joint is a little bit better on Dick Grayson. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you guys think? It just seems like it's a little bit more noticeable on Carrie Kelley than Dick Grayson's. I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to give him benefit of the doubt. I just seem to see the circle a little more on her than on him. And same goes with the ankles. His are definitely different than hers. Hers are much more noticeable. His are a little more sunken in, a little smaller. Anyway, looks like the torso is exactly the same. The diaper crotch piece is different on the two of them. The legs are exactly the same. I do think the ball joints are a little bit better on the Dick Grayson figure, so there was a minor upgrade there. But I feel like his R should be a little bit different. It's kind of her design, but it's minuscule differences. Capes, identical. There you have it. It works, but I don't know, I was never sort of a huge fan of this body. I just never thought the legs and arms looked all that good. It definitely works for what they're going for, and the head, even though I feel like it's a little bit too large, does look really good. That boyish smile, nicely done. Now they're taking a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories. Now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, he's standing at about 5.6 inches tall, which can translate to about 14 centimeters. Now for his articulation. Start with his head here, of course. You can rotate from side to side. You can look up and down about that much. Pretty nice. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint goes up more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He does have a very small butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest area. Increase the range of motion and cover the large gap. Bicep cut hidden nicely with the sleeve. Double jointed elbows that go all the way in. His wrist, it's got a ball in it. Rotate, and it is hinged as well. Torso, it's one solid piece. It has that soft goods overlay. Now there is some articulation inside of there, but honestly you're not going to get very much out of it. It all sort of just bounces back into place. You're not going to get any of that to really stick. It does have a ball joint in the waist. Rotate around, forward and back. Legs, complete as a splits. Ball joints. Rotation is pretty much non-existent. Legs go forward about that much. Back just a little bit. Double jointed knees below that. Then the ankles here. Balls them as well. Forward and back. Rotate. And they sort of tilt and rock. I've always had a little bit of trouble getting them to stand exactly flush. And of course, to articulation. Here's an image of the Dick Grayson Robin with Batman on a rooftop overlooking Gotham. A closer look at Robin, giving you a thumbs up. He really enjoys working with Batman. And here's Robin scaling on the side of a building. A Batman and Robin like this look great, taking on some more classic and traditional Batman villains. Here they are, taking on an old spandex-suited Riddler. Here's a look at Batman and Robin taking on Joker in his territory in front of his base. The Joker has the upper hand against Batman. Robin looks like he's super thrilled to finally be able to save Batman's life. And then Batman and Robin taking out Catwoman in the villain's lair. And here's a look at Penguin robbing a rich person in Gotham City, taking their jeweled egg. Batman comes in, simply taps Penguin on the shoulder. Robin striking a heroic pose. Now let's check them out. Next to some other action figures. Starting off with some other Dick Grayson and Robin figures. Here he is, next to all of my DC Direct and DC Collectibles Dick Grayson Robin figures. These are all from the animated series. And here he is, next to all of my Mattel Dick Grayson Robin figures. These are my two favorite classic Dick Grayson Robin figures. These are from Mattel's DC Universe Classics line. And here he is, next to all of my McFarlane Dick Grayson Robin figures. These are all from the 1966 line. Then, next to an ordered Toy Biz Dick Grayson Robin. Here are all of my Dick Grayson Robin figures. A lot of red, a lot of yellow, a lot of green. And here are all of my Dick Grayson as Nightwing figures. Here he is, next to Dick Grayson as Red Robin from Kingdom Come. Then, next to a custom civilian version of Dick Grayson I threw together. Now let's check them out. Next to some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here are all the different Dick Grayson figures they've made, 6 of which are Nightwing, 1 of which is Robin. And now, next to some other Robin figures. They've made a ton of Red Robin, Red Hood, Nightwing figures, but I'm talking figures that are specifically Robin. Now, this is the first Dick Grayson Robin they've made. They don't have any Jason Todd Robin figures out there. Here he is, next to the 2 different Tim Drake Robin figures McFarlane made. One from the comics, one from Gotham Knights video game. And here, next to all the different Damian Wayne Robin figures they've made. And now, next to McFarlane's Batman The Dark Knight Returns Carrie Kelley Robin figures. And let's not forget about McFarlane's Robin Cruz from Dark Knight's Metal. Now let's check him out, next to a few other McFarlane DC Multiverse Batman figures. I'm only going to show him next to Batman figures that really make sense to me to have Dick Grayson Robin with. He'd be an old school Batman. None of the modern Batmans make any sense next to a Dick Grayson Robin. Here he is, next to probably the most logical Batman to put him next to, the Year 2 Batman. Even though this Batman is actually from an era a little bit farther than Dick Grayson Robin at this young age. And here he is, next to the Detective Comics number 1000 Batman, the blue variation. Here he is, next to the Hush Batman. It's a modern, larger Batman, and reminds me of the all-star Batman and Robin comic, this combination. And the 3 Jokers Batman, the Amazon exclusive blue and gray variant, kind of looks okay with this Robin too. Here are all the different McFarlane Toy Store exclusive figures they've made so far. I'm curious to see what's next. Now let's check them out. Next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the recent Flash Wave. And here he is, next to some recent Target exclusive gold label figures. We have the Flashpoint Aquaman and Project Superman, the Jokerized Dark Detective Batman, Deadman, and Impulse. Then, next to some Walmart exclusive gold label figures, we have both the Vampire, Joker, and Batman, then Eradicator and Beast Boy. Here's Robin, next to the Titans Wave, collective built Beast Boy. And here he is, next to Wonder Woman and Shazam from Shazam Fury of the Gods. Then, next to the Arkham Knight, Earth 2 Batman skin, and the Arkham City Riddler. And now, next to the 2 most recent McFarlane Mega figures, Fulcrum Abominus and Calabac. Here's Robin, next to the 4th wave of Page Punchers. This is an Aquaman themed wave. We have Aqualad, Aquaman, Black Manta, and Ocean Master. And here he is, next to the Dark Knight Trilogy wave, collect build Bane from the Dark Knight Rises. Then, next to the Kingdom Come Armored Batman, and the Dark Knight's Metal Gladiator Batman. And now, next to the Connell Superboy, Duke Thomas the Signal, and both versions of the Jay Garrick Flash. Here's Robin, next to most recent Batman wave. We have the Hush Batman, both versions of Nightfall Catwoman, both versions of Rebirth Mr. Freeze, and the Infinite Frontier Joker. And finally, here he is, next to both the Amazon exclusive Tim Drake Robin and the Amazon exclusive Batman Family 5-pack. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. Even though this guy is smaller than 6 inches, he's part of the 7-inch scale, as he's a child. I want to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect. and work way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, next is more McFarlane Toys. These are from different various video game properties. And now, next is some Jack-specific wrestling figures. Here's Robin, next to a chocolate Reese's Peanut Butter Bunny. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here he is, standing next to some NECA figures. Then, next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. And here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collected figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here he is, next to some Mafex figures. Then, next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, it's a nice Dick Grayson Robin figure. I really hope they continue to push out more classic figures like this from the Silver and Golden Age. We need a Batman that properly goes along with him. Now, I do like the way it looks, that the head sculpt is nice, the smile, the hair, it looks good, the body, the colors, it's nice. Things I don't like, well, back to the body, it's 90% the Carrie Kelley body, which I wasn't really fond of. The legs are just so plain, no definition, the arms are skinny, the joints don't look that good, the ball joints, they look bad on this Dick Grayson Robin, but not as bad as they did on Carrie Kelley. That being said, it does look good. It scratches my itch for a traditional Dick Grayson Robin, although it definitely could be a little better. The costume is not fully accurate, but I'll take what I can get. Like I said, I really hope they give us some more classic looks to some of these Bat characters, especially some of the main villains. His accessories are very cool, ton of hands, the bat rope's nice. His articulation, it's pretty good, although it's a couple years outdated at this point. Sculpt and paint job are excellent, no issues there. I do feel like his head is too large for the body though. If I were to rate this figure, I'm probably going to give him a 6.5 out of 10, and I was really wanting to give this Dick Grayson Robin something like an 8 out of 10, but there are some lazy things they did, and it fell short in a couple of places. But overall, very happy to add him to my collection. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.